Hey there and welcome. We're going to talk about something that's really changing the game for CPA firms across the US. It's all about how the smartest, fastest-growing firms are using offshore support not just as a quick fix, but as a real strategic engine for growth. Let's get into it.
All right, here's the game plan. First, we'll look at why the old way of doing things is, well, cracking under the pressure. Then we'll dig into the US talent gap, which is a huge piece of this puzzle. We'll explain exactly what the offshoring solution is, how it actually drives growth, and then we'll tackle those common concerns I know you're thinking about. And finally, we'll tie it all together to show you your new competitive advantage.
So, first things first, the old playbook for growing a CPA firm, it's just not cutting it anymore. Let's break down exactly what we mean by that.
For decades, the growth formula was pretty simple, right? It was brute force. You needed to grow, so you hired more people. You leased more office space, and you just kind of accepted that everyone was going to work crazy long hours. But the modern way? It's a total mindset shift. It's about being smarter, not just bigger. It's about building efficient operations by tapping into global teams.
So what's really pushing this change? What's the fundamental pressure that's forcing firms to completely rethink their strategy? I want you to just take a second and think about this. What's the biggest headache in your firm right now? Is it finding good people? Is it managing the mountain of work? Keeping clients happy? Well, for most firms, it really all boils down to one single massive issue. And that issue is talent, or more accurately, the lack of it. Look, the statistics are just wild. A huge percentage of CPAs hit retirement age a few years back, and the pipeline of new accountants just isn't filling up fast enough. This isn't some temporary blip on the radar. It's a real systemic shortage, and it's creating a massive capacity problem for pretty much everyone.
And here's the real kicker. While that talent pool is shrinking, your workload is exploding. You've got more compliance, more reporting, clients expect more high-level advisory work, and of course, tax season just gets more intense every year. You're being squeezed from both sides, fewer people to do way more work.
So, if you've got a shrinking pool of talent and a tidal wave of work, how in the world do you break out of that squeeze? Well, this brings us to the exact strategy that the most successful firms are now using.
Now, let's be super clear about what offshore support means in this context. This is not about just shipping your entire firm overseas. Not at all. It's a hybrid model. Your core client-facing team stays right where they are. The idea is to integrate a dedicated offshore team that handles specific tasks, acting as a true, seamless extension of your local team.
And this is the part that really matters. This team works for you and only you. They aren't freelancers juggling 10 different clients. They are dedicated to your firm. They learn your processes, your standards, they work in your software, and they report directly to your managers. For all intents and purposes, they're part of your staff, just in a different location.
So, what does this look like in the real world? Well, most firms start with the heavy lifting, time-consuming stuff. Bookkeeping, payroll, reconciliations. Getting that off your local team's plate is a game changer. Then they often move on to tax prep, which is perfect for handling those crazy seasonal volumes. And for firms with niche clients, you can even build out teams for really complex work, like fund accounting.
Okay, so that's the model. But what about the results? The bottom line. How does this strategy actually translate into real, measurable growth for a CPA firm?
The first and most obvious impact is financial. It's just simple math. By leveraging a global talent pool, you can lower your operational costs. And when you combine that with the massive efficiency gains from having a dedicated team focused on high-volume work, well, you see a really nice, direct bump in your profit margins, plain and simple.
But honestly, it goes so much deeper than just profit. This strategy reinforces the entire foundation of your firm. All of a sudden, you have the capacity to take on new clients you used to turn away. Your existing clients get their work done faster and more consistently. Your best people here at home are freed up from the tedious stuff, which means less burnout and better retention. And yeah, all of that leads to better financial performance. It creates a healthier, stronger, more sustainable business all around.
All right, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds pretty good, but you've got questions, you've got concerns, and you absolutely should. So let's just tackle the three biggest ones we hear from firm leaders right now.
This is always number one. The fear that if you hand work over to a team thousands of miles away, you're basically giving up control of your quality and your process. But is that actually true? The answer is a hard no. And here's why. With the right partner, you are always in the driver's seat.
You define the exact workflows. You are the final point of review and approval. And, this is critical, your local team continues to own and manage 100% of the client communication. The control stays with you.
Okay, next big question. Quality. Can you really trust an offshore team to deliver the same high-caliber work that your clients have come to expect from you?
Yes, you can. And here's the key thing to realize. Quality has nothing to do with geography. It has everything to do with process and people. As long as you partner with a reputable firm that hires skilled professionals and you put clear review processes in place, the quality isn't just reliable, it's incredibly consistent.
And finally, we have the absolute non-negotiable, security. I mean, your whole business is built on confidentiality. How can you possibly ensure that client data is safe?
Look, any professional offshore firm knows that their entire business lives and dies on security. They operate with incredibly strict data security protocols, secure networks, and NDAs that are every bit as rigorous as what you'd find in the US. Their survival depends on it.
So let's tie this all together. We've talked about the problem, the solution, and we've hit the big concerns. What's the ultimate takeaway here? What does this mean for your firm's future?
I love this because it just nails the new reality of our industry. It's not about being the biggest firm on the block anymore. It's about being the smartest. The firms that are winning are the ones who have built intelligent, scalable systems that use global talent to create capacity. That allows their local experts to focus on what they do best, high-value client advisory work. And that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. As this talent gap gets wider and client demands get bigger, just working harder isn't a strategy anymore. The real question is your firm's current operating model built for the future, or is it an anchor holding you back in the past? That's something every firm leader needs to be asking themselves right now.